Y'all, welcome to Late Night with Bridget and Holly. I'm your host, Holly.
And I'm your host, Bridget.
And y'all, before we get started, tonight's episode is called Under the Weather. But if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe, click the notification bell so you will be notified every week when we drop our new episode. Also, you can find us on any podcast, Apple, Spotify, whatever the hell has podcast. You can find us. And if not, email us at bridgetandholly@gmail.com and Bridget will make sure it happens. So what we mean by under the weather is, first of all, Bestie, how you been feeling?
Un-
What
Under the
how you been
weather. Under the
under the
weather.
weather? And
Yeah.
and tell us, when you say under the weather, what exactly do you mean by that?
Well, normally when people say under the weather, you would think they're just sick. And it's not sick, but I've been feeling like my body's fighting something, or I'm just feeling off, very
Right.
drained, very tired, very lethargic. And it's been like this for several weeks.
Not
And it
very
kind of,
demure at all.
no, and it's going up and down.
Yeah.
It's like I start trying to feel better and then, downhill it goes. And it's I just think it's really strange because the other day I posted that on social media and tons of people all over the country were coming forward and saying, "Me too. Me too.
Really.
Me too." Yep.
And I've been feeling like that too.
Mhm.
And me and you were talking, and it's like, damn, you said you, Cece, Mr. Ronnie.
Mhm.
I've been feeling like that. Like,
Mhm.
even some of my other friends have been feeling like that, just lethargic.
Mhm.
It's like you just trying to come down. It's like a bull that never comes to
Yep.
a head.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and for me, it's been the same symptoms. I've just been really tired. I just haven't felt good, and
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just icky, icky. Like, okay, I'm either trying to get a cold or bronchitis or the
Mhm.
flu, or
Mhm.
and not trying to jinx it because I do not want to get sick.
Mhm.
But it's like I can't shake it. And
Yeah.
you've done your regimen. Hell, I've done her regimen, and it's like her regimen helps, and you
Mhm.
feel better.
Mhm.
But then
Yeah.
it comes
Yeah, it's
back
bad.
rearing its
Yeah.
ugly head. So
Yeah.
what you think? Like, it's not a coincidence, first of all, that it's us and hundreds and thousands of people out there feeling like this.
Yeah.
What you think is going on?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. First of all, I love your cup. I love your Miyogi cup. Is that supposed to be
Thank
for
you.
Halloween? Oh,
Yeah, it's a Halloween one.
it was, girl. It's the new year. You put that cup up. I'm just kidding.
But I
So,
love Halloween. It's Halloween all year long.
so I don't know. I think we had those suspicious drones that were flying that we didn't
Weird.
really get any answers about. That
Right.
the and let me explain something to you for people out here that don't know this. Okay, my husband loves drones. But every time you get a drone, if it can fly above a certain height, you have to get an FCC license to fly that.
Really?
Yes.
Now
So that,
why?
well, because for that reason, because it could be used to spy, it could be used to do, to carry out some bad things.
There's probably a huge ass fine for that if you don't. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So what I'm trying to say is my son has drones, my husband has drones. They both have FCC permission and license to fly those drones, and you're told at certain times where you can't fly them. So here's my thing about it. The federal government knows every drone that's out there, and if there's drones flying around out there that they don't know about, they need to be taking them down. But they haven't. They've allowed them to fly. So what does that tell you? They know what's going on.
Wow.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So anyhow, I'm saying that there was another that I don't know if you've seen this or not, but me and Brittany was talking about this tonight. There was a video, I think it come out on TikTok, don't quote me, but where this woman was showing her pool water was extremely cloudy, really nasty and cloudy, as if like a chemical had been sprayed and it settled in the pool. Mhm.
Really?
Yes. Yes. So my opinion, I think they're spraying stuff, the government spraying stuff. I think that, in my opinion, it's called chemtrails. Is the rabbit hole you want to go down to find that? Chemtrails is where they're basically saying they're chemical trails that are making us sick. And this is the way I think about it. You have to think about the government standpoint on this. Now I'm gonna go really deep with you here, okay? Because I at the rate America is growing, you got to think back in the settlers age. You didn't have houses for miles from each other. Now we
Right.
are packed up on each other, and we're having
Yep.
to build townhouses where we have to build up just to house everybody. So our
True.
government is sitting there saying, if we keep growing at this rate, we're going to run out of resources on the land and the earth to be able to support everybody. So their
Yeah.
mindset is they're putting out these chemtrails. They put out COVID. Okay. I think they put out COVID
I do too.
because they want us they want to kill off some of the population. And the way they see it, if we put out these chemicals, we put out this COVID, then whoever dies dies, and whoever survives, then that's the survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
They were strong enough to make it through. Their genes, their health, they were strong enough to make it through. If you didn't make it through, say la vie, we need to get rid of you anyway. I think it has to do with population control.
And that makes so much sense, and I truly believe that. And it makes you wonder, like, what distraction are they trying to come up with, because there's something that they're going to hide. Because
Right.
every, if not every year, every so often, something big starts happening, and it's only just for them to cover up shit. Because
Hmm.
it, I don't know, I don't understand it, and it pisses me off, because they're protected, because they work with the government, so
Hmm.
they're untouchable, but they're able to fuck with everybody else's lives.
Hmm.
It,
Hmm.
it doesn't make sense to me, and it's just not fair at all.
Well, and you just mentioned about that attack where that guy drove through the traffic.
Yes.
Okay, then we have had the guy drove through the traffic. Then we had a car that pulled up at the Trump Towers and
I
exploded.
saw that today. Yes.
Yep.
In LA.
Mm-hmm. And then we've had some other ones. We had four incidences. Okay. Now, this is what I'm trying to say. I don't care what side of the government you're on, and I don't care who you voted for. I really don't. But I
Same.
have my opinion about it. Me and Holly has been very open here on the podcast to tell you that we both are Republican. We are both
Yep.
Trump supporters. But I feel like we have had pretty open borders for the last 4 years where our borders were not secure. And we have had terrorists and ISIS and all these people be able to get over the border and plant themselves here. And I think we're getting ready to brace. Remember, I said it right here on this podcast. There is going to be a major catastrophic event just like 9/11 in 2025.
See, do you know, I was thinking that too.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking the same thing, because, like, it just feels like my gut instinct tells me that something is leading up to something
Mm-hmm.
really, really big.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And I don't know why, but I almost feel like we're going to be going to war this
Yeah.
year.
And well, and I fear, you know, for our president. I'm going to tell y'all something. I didn't like Biden. I didn't support him at all. And I'm sorry if you did. If you supported Biden, then so be it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have
Right.
anything against you as a person. I got plenty of friends who are liberals and who supported Biden, and we just don't talk about politics. So if y'all are listening to our podcast, and Holly and I have been very careful about staying away from politics, race issues, religion issues, because we don't want to divide our audience. We want to stay very
Right.
neutral with our audience. We really do. But what I'm trying to say is I lived under the Biden administration and hated it for 4 years. But never would I ever wish that somebody would assassinate him. And we have had not one, not two, but three attempts on our coming president's life.
Right.
And I feel like they are going to do everything they can while he's in the president's office to try to take him out. I really
I
do.
think so too.
I worry for him. And I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or not, pray
You
for
should
our
never want
future
somebody
president.
to, yeah, you should never
Yeah.
want somebody, to have that happen to them, because I've thought about that too with him going into office. I'm like, damn, is there going to be a presidential assassination? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. It just, because he's so hated by so many people.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, I mean, I look at it this way. At the end of the day, yeah, the president can make some calls, but at the end of the day, it's fucking Congress.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to make every decision. And while I do feel like voting is important, a part of me feels like it's not, but I do it anyway
Mm-hmm.
because it counts for me. It matters
Yeah.
for me because I'm voting for who I want to. But I
Mm-hmm.
do feel like at the end of the day, sometimes that it doesn't matter what we do, how much we, publicly voice our opinions
Yeah.
and speak on what we believe in. It doesn't give matter two shits because Congress at the end of the day is going to make the decision, just like the decision they're wanting to take TikTok. That's their doing.
Yeah.
You're fucking with our freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Our rights. It doesn't make sense because it's supposed to be USA is freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom of your rights.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's all government controlled. If we're
It is.
doing what they want to, then nothing happens. But the
Mm-hmm.
minute something happens that they don't like or that they don't have their greedy palms in and making that money, then we're gonna wreak havoc.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it is, and I don't understand it. I don't understand why the world has to be this way. I don't understand how. Just like so, I watched the thing, and I think I might have told you about it. And we touched a little bit based on it, and it does make sense. I see where Trump's coming from, but everybody's like, "Oh, when Trump gets in, he's gonna raise all the wages, raise all the wages." He's not. He learned from last time, like it is trial and error, but at least he admitted and
Mm-hmm.
owned up to it. They did it with California and a couple of other states, and businesses have shut down
Right.
because a lot of people don't understand. Oh, we're going to make $20 an hour now. No, boo, you're not. If you were at $10 an hour and you're being bumped to $20 an hour, guess what? Inflation, everything's going up. So you
Mm-hmm.
back to where you started at.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
So he said that, he saw that it wasn't a good idea to do that. So many businesses have shut down
Mm-hmm.
because they can afford to pay the high wages.
Right.
And so
Well, this
people just don't
people
be
don't
thinking.
understand, right? And people don't understand what's called the trickle down effect. And what the trickle
Yeah,
down effect is, it's basically where if you go to somebody like McDonald's, okay, and you tell McDonald's you have to raise your employees' wages to $20 an hour. Okay, well McDonald's is going to be like, okay, well if we raise our wages to $20 an hour, a Big Mac's now going to be $15, fries are going to be $5, a drink's going to be $5, and blah 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 blah. And at the end of the day, who pays for that? McDonald's is not feeling any hit from it
no,
because they just raised their prices. It's the consumer. You know what I'm saying? It is the
yes,
consumer. So just
yes,
if you raise taxes on the rich, if you raise prices for corporate businesses, if you raise what they have to pay, they're simply going to increase their prices on their products and goods,
hands
and then
down.
we pay for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
End of the
it
day.
hurts us in the long run. We're not. The only way you see that benefit is if you live in a state that is, low, low economy and
Hmm.
prices aren't high, then yeah, you'll see that benefit. But not anymore. You're not going to see that because even the states that are low economy, shit's still going up. Rent's going up. Is it
Right.
super duper expensive like it might would be, three states over? No, but it's going up because they're losing money if they keep it the same.
Well, not only that, you and I've talked about your area versus, I mean, we are states side by side. And
Yeah,
we've already talked about how different pricing, like the
it's
average going rent
crazy.
here, average going rent for a 2 bedroom, 1 bath apartment is $1,500 a month.
That's ridiculous because you can rent a house. There's a house down the street from me that Heather, my best friend, that she used to live at, and I think that rent is at $450 a month, and it's a two-bedroom house. Cute as shit. It's a little house, but it's a two-bedroom house, and it's nice. There's a building out in the back, a shed where you can put stuff. I
That's
think it was a
crazy.
carport. It is, and we're only just what 2.5, 2 hours and 45 minutes away from
Exactly.
each other,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't think
But
that.
now we also talked about y'all's pay around there, and their pay is, for service workers and stuff is much less than what we have. Like my daughter is a vet tech, and at her vet's office, I won't tell her exact amount, but she makes over $20 an hour. Okay.
Right.
Well, Kyle, her boyfriend, he works installing turf. He makes over, I think, 23 or $24 an hour.
And that's
So
cheap probably for their hourly pay considering
it
what
is.
the price
It,
is for up there.
right. But in Holly's area, she said it's not uncommon for people around there to make $10 and $12 an hour. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like even working really good jobs, you know.
Yeah,
So
it's not. You got some people who, make that and they're able to be okay with it.
mhm,
And down here, if you make, like 15 on up, you're considered like, oh, you kind of living good if you don't go above your means and
mhm.
max out all your shit and stuff. But yeah, down
I
here,
did
and I
that.
think, yeah, I think we all do to some point.
Yeah.
But I think that's why you see a lot of people coming down to like smaller states and in smaller towns because the prices are cheaper,
Mhm.
and it's just sad. Like for me, I remember when I first started driving, $5 would fill my fucking car up.
Yeah.
It would fill my car up.
Yeah.
I could take $5 and walk into a store. I could go into our local store, get a slice of pizza, a potato wedge, a candy bar, and a drink if
Yeah.
I wanted that for $5.
Yeah.
$5 don't get you shit now but a quarter of a tank of gas.
Uh, I don't think it
Or
gets you a quarter of a tank. Probably gets you
yeah,
damn. Probably you might could go a couple miles on $5.
yeah, you
$5 is
might.
what 2 gallons now.
Yeah, it is. It's just ridiculous and it's sad. And one thing that I don't understand, and I don't think I ever will, and you might can shed some light on it for me. I don't understand why, if they would have just kept everything how it was, everybody would be okay. Why did the prices have to go up? Why did everything have to get so expensive? Like, why couldn't they just leave
I got
well
your
enough
answer for that.
alone?
I got your answer for. So okay, before I answer that, you touched base on something that I'm going to go ahead and say it while we're on here because you and I both are bad to forget. Our next podcast needs to be living within your means. Do we do it or not?
Yes,
Okay.
that's a good one.
Okay. So with that, what happened was when the pandemic happened, okay, everything we started getting shortages of everything, toilet paper, water, this, and gas prices. What happened was our fuel started getting low, and when Biden administration come in, he shut down the pipeline where we were actually getting fuel here in America.
Uh huh.
Okay. And so when he shut down the pipeline in Pennsylvania, and put all those oil workers out of work after he promised them he wouldn't do that, he ended up increasing gas prices because now we are solely depending on our gas from other countries. Okay. So now we're having to import our gas instead of having it here. So when the gas prices rose again, if you're having to pay truckers more fuel, if you're having to pay instead of $500 a trip for fuel, you have to pay $1,500 a trip for fuel. You have to raise
Yeah.
the prices on the groceries. You know what I'm saying? And the stuff that they're hauling. So furniture, groceries, goods, all of that stuff had to increase to cover for the gas. That's where it all
But
started.
I mean, like back in the day, why couldn't like prices stay the same? Why
Oh,
couldn't it be, for a carton of eggs it was, 89 cents, for a gallon of milk it was like $1.50. Like, why did things have to change? Why couldn't that just have been life? I mean, hell, me and you both have talked the price of our light bill for me and you both run sky high. I mean, I remember back in the day, when my mom's light bill was $57 for the month.
yeah.
Like,
Well, what happens
I
is
don't kid.
it usually starts with a chain. It's a chain effect. So it's usually one person or one thing starts to increase and it causes the
Uh,
price of everything to go up. And then everybody has to go up to compensate. So for instance, if the price of lumber goes up and you're building houses, then they have to charge more for the house to sell it to recoup for the lumber going
correct.
up. You know what
But
I'm saying? But
why
I'm
don't
like
lumber
you.
go up? It's
But you have to
crazy.
think too, if you would do percentages, this would what be interesting, and we would need some mathematician on here. So
Uh-huh.
let's take it back in the 80s when you're talking about those prices, or 70s when you're talking about really good prices. And let's think about what they made. Like the cost of a house back then was like $20,000 for a really
Yeah.
nice house. You know,
Uh-huh.
I guarantee you the house you're living in, your mother's, when they bought it back years ago, she probably didn't pay over $100,000 for that
No,
house.
this house too. She had this house built for $25,000.
Right.
Her, my aunt, everybody on this block. These houses were $25,000 to build.
Right. So that's what I'm trying to say. So let's take it back to then when houses were 25,000 and groceries was more reasonable and gas was more reasonable. Well, what was people making an hour then? Probably about $3 or $4 an hour. So
Yeah.
we would have to figure out the percentage, like their income to the cost of stuff. Where does that inflation percentage set versus where it sets now? Because in
Right.
my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, the price of houses and stuff are more, but we're making 20 and 30 and $40 an hour. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, are we really, did anything really change? Or did we just say, we'll pay you more and we'll charge everything more for everything? It was just crazy.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just so sad. It's so sad what the I ain't crying when I yawn, y'all, if you're on
Bitch, you
podcast.
lying to them. You crying because you under the weather.
Yeah, if you are listening to us on if you listen to our podcast on Spotify and stuff, when I yawn my eyes water really bad, it looks like I'm crying. But it is sad though. It is sad enough to make you want to fucking cry. I mean, I did a video today on TikTok, and I was just getting ready, doing a little bit of makeup, and I was getting ready to go pay my car taxes. And I was like, my car taxes ain't in the middle of the year. They're right after fucking Christmas. They're due by the end
Yeah.
of December the 31st, which is fine. I paid it. Wasn't no problem. But I don't understand why when we buy a fucking car and we pay our sales taxes and all that shit on it, why ain't it done?
Yeah.
No, bitch, you gonna make us pay it every fucking year.
Yep.
And you think about it, you add up all that money did you spend on paying taxes on your
That's
car
a
every
whole
year?
nother podcast.
Yes,
We
that's
could go
another
down the
issue right
rabbit hole
there.
with that one because,
I
yes, we are taxed to death if you
Yeah,
think
I'm gonna
about
tell
it.
you, and I think Bridget's with me. It's 2025, and we bringing our podcast to different levels.
Yeah.
Because me and Bridget are very open, and we're gonna talk about what we want to talk about. You either gonna love us or you either gonna hate us. But the thing with us, you may not see eye to eye with what we're thinking and what we're feeling, and we might not see eye to eye, vice versa with you. But we don't judge. We don't judge. So I feel like we should be able to talk about whatever the fuck we want to
Mm-hmm.
on our podcast because everybody has their own opinion. Just like everybody has an asshole. Everybody has an opinion.
Hmm.
So be prepared for 2025 for great things to come.
Well, right, and like Holly's saying, this is the thing. What if we just for a moment stay with me? We spit out something like we're Trump supporters, and you're like, I'm not going to unfollow them. Ask yourself, is that mature? And then ask yourself, would the more mature thing be to at least listen to 3 or 4 podcasts that we do
Mm-hmm.
that's about those topics and be like, could you take anything from that you agree on? Do we really see eye to eye and you're just being told that we're different? You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I'm an educated person. So I've had plenty of times where I've heard a liberal out. I listen to them, I listen to their views, their opinions, all of it. I listen to them
Right.
completely out. And then I have said, well, I don't agree with that, so we're just going to have to agree to disagree and leave it at that. I don't hate them. I don't argue with them. I don't turn my back on them. I don't, whatever. You are who you are, and you can believe what you want to believe, and that is
Yes.
what people fought for in this country. So Holly's right. We're going to talk about what we want to talk about it. If you don't like it and you don't agree with it, skip that episode or don't
Go to
listen to
another
it
one. And
and go to
also
the next
too,
one because we're going
yeah,
to throw out stuff you do agree with and you do enjoy, and
exactly.
we're still going to do the fun stuff, y'all. Don't
Yeah,
think we're
don't
going to
don't
get
worry
rid of
about
the fun
that.
stuff.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that. But and one thing that I want to say too, one last thing I want to say is who are you and why do you think that if somebody is a Trump supporter and you're not, that makes them a bad person?
Mhm.
Why is it because we have different beliefs? Why do you think that it changes who we are? It's just what we believe, but we're still
Mhm.
nice. We're still sweet. We
Mhm.
still have big hearts. We still love people and do
Mhm.
things for others. Just because we have different beliefs doesn't mean that that makes you a bad person.
Right.
Just like if you wanted to vote for Kamala, I actually have a friend who voted for her, and I didn't care.
Right.
I didn't care. That's what she wanted to do.
Right.
And I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, well, I can't be friends with you because, you ain't a Republican and you didn't vote for Trump or you didn't do this. She could have voted for fucking Fred Flintstone and I wouldn't have fucking cared.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
what you want to do, and I'm not going to judge you as a person. I'm not going to sit there and say you're a bad person because you don't have the same beliefs as I do.
That's right.
And it just, I think it's so crazy, and I think it's so stupid how people get attacked because they support this person and that person. At the end of the day, set that shit aside. Do you like that person just
Mhm.
in general because of who they are and how they are? Y'all follow us for a reason. Why? Because we're funny. We make y'all laugh. We are there, y'all's crying shoulder. We cry with you. We still have feelings just
Mhm.
because we have different views and opinions
Mhm.
doesn't take that away.
Mm-mm.
Doesn't take it away.
Not at all. But y'all, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Let us know. Have you been feeling under the weather? Have you just been fighting
Yes.
something that you feel like you just can't let go of? We definitely want to know. You just hit us up in the comments and tell us what you're thinking. Holly, I'm gonna go ahead and let you take us out.
All right. Yeah. On that note, y'all put it in the comments. Let us know what you thought of this show. And again, if you got ideas or there's a subject, a topic that you want us to touch base on, please put it in the comments or email us or get up with us on any of our other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Lemonade, wherever you can find us. Let us know because you give us a topic or subject, we'll talk about it. We're just those people. We will talk about it, and it might be something that we are against that don't agree with. But guess what? We'll talk about it because you wanted us to.
Mm-hmm.
That's just us. But on that note, y'all have a good night, a very happy New Year, and let's bring in 2025 the right way. Good night.